I personally believe the Secretary symbolizes the bringing of good legal thinking to the Department of State.
And one of the things I think we need to see is where I think the Chinese are wrong is that they believe the status quo can hold. I don't believe it can, in part because you got an illegal regime that is living off of counterfeiting and narcotics and others. And one of the differences that we've had is to say, look, in our own self-interest, we have to protect our country. We can't allow people to counterfeit, use money laundering, narcotics. And I think as one does those things, it's going to even force a choice more for the North Korean regime. So we need to give them a pathway, but ultimately it's got to be their choice, and I hope the Chinese can encourage them to take the right choice.
As we go down the list, I'm going to be pretty tight on time.
Aside from dealing with Islamic political radicalism and terrorism, how we deal with China's growing influence is probably the central question of the 21st century for U.S. diplomacy. We need to try to make progress in the short term while building a foundation for our long-term interests and cooperation.
Review the text of what you just said, Mr.
Last year, our trade deficit with China was a record. Over $200 billion transferred across the Pacific to pay for our national buying binge. This level of trade imbalance does not seem sustainable year after year without ultimately impoverishing our children.
Years ago, there was around 60 billion, and that currently it's heading towards 300 billion.